On Valentine's Day, 2000, a 9-year-old girl left her bed in the middle of the night. She packed a bag. She walked out the front door, and she stepped into a storm. Drivers saw her walking alone down a dark highway. One of them turned his car around 3 times to check on her. But when he got close, she ran into the woods, and she was never seen again. Harold and Asha Degree married on Valentine's Day, 1988. They built a quiet life in a subdivision off Oakcrest Drive, north of Shelby, North Carolina. Their son, O'Brien, was born in 1989. Their daughter, Asha, came a year later, on August 5, 1990. By all accounts, the Degree family was close. Asha was a shy but determined girl. She loved basketball, even though her team had just lost a game the day before she disappeared. She was a good student. There was nothing that suggested she was unhappy. Nothing that would explain what she did next. Sunday, February 13th. The family went to church, then came home. Around 8 o'clock, Asha and O'Brien went to bed in the room they shared. Less than an hour later, the power went out. A car accident nearby had knocked out electricity to the whole neighborhood. The house went dark and silent. The power came back on around 12:30 a.m. Harold checked on the children. Both were asleep. He checked again just before 2:30 a.m. before going to bed himself. Both children were in their beds. Everything was normal. But sometime after that, Asha got up. She had packed a book bag, multiple sets of clothes, personal items. Investigators would later conclude she had been preparing for this over several days. She left no note. She told no one. Sometime between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning, Asha Degree walked out the front door of her family's home and into a February storm. She was 9 years old. The temperature was in the mid-30s. Rain and wind lashed the roads, and she walked out into it alone. Between 3:45 and 4:15 a.m., 2 separate drivers spotted her. A truck driver and a motorist both saw a small girl walking south along Highway 18 just north of its junction with Highway 180. She was about 1.5 miles from her home. She was wearing a long-sleeved white t-shirt and white pants. Walking alone, in the rain, in the dark. The motorist thought it was strange, a child that small at that hour. So he turned his car around. He circled back 3 times to get a closer look. But each time he came near, she moved further from the road. On his 3rd pass, she ran. She left the highway and disappeared into the woods. At 6:30 a.m., Asha went to wake the children for school. O'Brien was in his bed. Asha's bed was empty. The covers were pulled back. Her book bag was gone. Asha called Harold. They searched the house. They called family members. They called friends. No one had seen her. No one had heard from her. By 9 a.m., they called the police. The search for Asha Degree had begun. Hundreds of volunteers joined law enforcement in combing the area around Highway 18. Dogs tracked her scent from the house to the highway, then lost it. Helicopters swept the woods. Divers searched nearby ponds. The FBI and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation got involved within days. The news coverage prompted the 2 drivers who had seen Asha that morning to come forward. Their descriptions matched perfectly. A small girl in white walking south alone in a storm. On February 15th, investigators found something. In a shed at a business along Highway 18, near where Asha had been seen running into the woods, they discovered candy wrappers, a pencil, a green marker, a yellow hair bow. Her parents confirmed. These were Asha's things. There was also a wallet-sized photograph of a girl the Degrees did not recognize. These were the only traces of Asha found during the initial search. She had been in that shed. She had been close. But by the time anyone looked, she was gone. 18 months passed. On August 3, 2001, a construction worker digging an access road for a new home in Burke County, about 26 miles north of Shelby along Highway 18, found something buried in the ground. A child's book bag, wrapped in 2 black trash bags. Inside was Asha's name and phone number. Someone had taken this bag. Someone had driven it 26 miles north. Someone had wrapped it carefully in plastic and buried it. When the FBI finally revealed the bag's contents 20 years later, in 2020, they disclosed 2 items that did not belong to Asha: a copy of the Dr. Seuss book, McElligot's Pool, and a New Kids on the Block t-shirt. Neither was hers. Someone else had put them there. In 2015, the FBI announced they were re-examining the case, and they revealed something new. Asha may have been seen getting into a vehicle, a dark green, early 1970s Lincoln Continental, marked 4th, or possibly a Ford Thunderbird, with rust around the wheel wells. This sighting placed the car along Highway 18, near where Asha was last seen. If this report was accurate, it meant someone had been waiting for her, or someone had found her walking alone in a storm and taken the opportunity. Either way, Asha didn't vanish into thin air. She got into a car. For 24 years, no suspects were publicly named. Then in September 2024, search warrants were unsealed. They named Roy and Connie Dedman as suspects. The Dedmans had operated assisted living facilities in the area. DNA from items in Asha's book bag matched 2 people connected to the Dedmans: their 13-year-old daughter Anna Lee, and a man named Russell Underhill who had lived in one of their facilities. Underhill died in 2004. In February 2025, the case was officially reclassified as a homicide investigation. After a quarter century, investigators publicly declared what Asha's family had feared all along. Asha Degree was murdered, and her body was concealed. 26 years later, Asha Degree has never been found. No charges have been filed. A billboard still stands along Highway 18 at the spot where she was last seen running into the woods. Every year her family holds a walk, from their home on Oakcrest Drive to that billboard, to make sure no one forgets. Her mother, Aquila, still speaks publicly about her daughter. She still waits. The question that haunts this case isn't just who took Asha Degree. It's the question no one has ever been able to answer. Why did she leave? A 9-year-old girl packed a bag in the middle of the night. She walked out into a storm. She walked down a dark highway alone. And when someone tried to help her, she ran. Whatever made Asha Degree leave that house, she was more afraid of going back than she was of the dark. If you have any information about the disappearance of Asha Degree, contact the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office or the FBI. Her family is still waiting.